Don's in West Wickham to kick things off. Don, what would you like to say?
Oh, yes. Good morning. Well, basically, I don't trust Starmer. He was a Marxist lawyer, and last election he was supporting Jeremy Corbyn. And then when he became leader, he suddenly changed his tune, so got rid of Jeremy Corbyn, tried to get rid of Diane Abbott, but he seems to have failed in that respect. And, whatever he says, I think, well, what was he saying last time? One time he was telling the truth. The next time he can't be telling the truth of what he actually thinks.
Yes, I mean, that makes sense. It's not what you'd call a sort of ringing endorsement of Rishi Sunak, though, what you're telling me. So it's I suppose, more a question, I think, about why you are enthusiastic about the Conservatives. I mean, perhaps you're not, but reasons to dislike Keir Starmer. You could have written a Daily Mail column with that list. So what are the reasons to vote for the Conservatives?
Well, I think it's been pretty tough. Rishi's had the COVID thing to deal with, also Ukraine war. Okay, I accept the fact
why are they reasons to vote for the COVID and the Ukraine war are reasons to vote for the Conservatives? Do you think there might be another COVID or another Ukraine war?
No, I'm just saying that I accept the fact that people are probably worse off now than they were when the Tories came into power.
Yes.
But I think that is not the fault of the government. He's had these crises.
What is their fault? What do you think the government has been responsible for over the last 14 years?
Well, I think Boris Johnson was fairly corrupt. I was turned off him. I forget the case now. There was something about someone he supported who turned out to be fairly dodgy, And
who his Chancellor was, don't you?
Yeah, I know who his Chancellor was, yeah. But...
So the positive reason to be a Tory voter now in 2024?
Well, I think they're better than Labour. There's only two.
No, I know you do, but that's why I'm asking for the reasons.
Well, you might say that's a negative reason, but nothing is perfect.
No, fair enough. No, it's a choice. You've got to pick one.
Vote Tory. I think I can justify my reasons to myself, logical in my own mind.
Well, that's the main thing, isn't it?
Basically, I don't trust Starmer.
What's a Marxist lawyer?
A Marxist lawyer?
Yes.
Well, he thought the police should be disbanded originally when he started out as a lawyer.
Yes, but that's not something that he's enacted or pursued as a lawyer, is it? That might have been an opinion.
No, well,
so what's the difference between a Marxist lawyer and a non-Marxist lawyer?
Well, the fact that someone's a lawyer, they can have any number of different political opinions.
Yes, but what's in terms of a lawyer? What would have happened if we had when he was director of public prosecutions? What do you think he did that was Marxist?
Well, I understand when he was director of public prosecutions, so it's been alleged. I mean, I can't say this.
Remember, this has to be Marxist. There has to be something Marxist.
Well, he was defending the accused in this case, and the prosecutions didn't take place.
Well, he can't have been defending someone when he was director of public prosecutions, Don.
Well, he was
what did he do?
He was the one who decided not to prosecute. Put it that way. I didn't make myself clear.
Are you talking about Jimmy Savile?
Yes, possibly.
Because that's a lie. That's a lie made by Boris Johnson, who you correctly described as being morally corrupt a few moments ago. But let's pretend it's true. How is it Marxist?
Well, I believe he was Marxist because he was sort of very, very extreme left wing.
Ian's in Hook. Ian, what would you like to say?
I'm not going to suggest I'll give a reason for voting Tory because I haven't got one. I've got a reason for not
heard a few.
voting. Well, I don't believe in any of them. I'm hoping I'm not going to get the same sort of tasting as the last caller. But I can't vote Labour because it will make me poorer. I've got to make some real life decisions about my children over the next 2 years. They're in the same. I went to state school, and throughout my life, I've worked incredibly hard in order to have or scrimp and save the money to get them into the system that they're in.
Yeah.
And it's going to become unaffordable. equally, I'm not a racist, so I'm not going to go anywhere near reform.
How many people do you think there are like you? I can't argue with you. I can't argue with you, by the way. I mean, your reasoning is impeccable.
Right?
Your reasoning is impeccable.
7%, right? We know it's 7%. Add on the grandparents, that makes it 14%.
Yeah, maybe. Take off the people who are much richer than us or much richer than you.
Well, the people that are much richer than us aren't going to be affected, are they?
No.
And they're going to go, yeah, that's not a problem. Here you go. So, my argument is it's going to make an elite system more elite, and that coming back.
I said we weren't having that debate today. We had that debate yesterday. So no, you've said it now, and it's me that has to bite my tongue and not come back with my well-rehearsed dismantlings of that position. But this is why.
I did actually listen to your the position the other week when you actually said, is this going to make it more elite or not? But I was listening rather than actually calling.
Fair enough.
My position is simple. I would vote Labour, but I can't vote to make myself poorer. I can't vote
they are
to
hitting
change
you.
my children's lives.
Yeah. Mary Jane is in Reading. Mary Jane, what would you like to say?
Hello, hi,
Hello.
James. Yeah, I totally agree with the last speaker. Now, the thing is, we have our son currently in state school, and we are moving him to a private school just because of the numbers they have in his current class and how he struggled in that population class of 32 students in a class for one teacher. So we thought we would work harder as two working parents who are working our butts off.
I know. I just for the record, and I'm not arguing with you, but I can't let that pass. Loads and loads and loads of people, millions and millions of people, work just as hard as you and will never be able to afford to send their children to private school. So there's no relationship between how hard you work and private education. Millions of people who work incredibly hard. Because when you say it, and I know you don't mean it, but when you say it, it sounds to a lot of people as if you're suggesting people who don't send their children to private school don't work very hard. And I know that's not what you mean.
No, not at all in that sense. Is we made that decision, and because of that, we're going to give up a lot to have him private educated, 24,000 a year.
Yes.
And to hear that they're intending to put another 20% on top of that, again, that wouldn't, like the last week said, affect the rich people because they have the money already and they're able to, what would 20% difference make for them? Well, for people like me...
It's the nibbling at the edges, and it's enough to settle your vote, and presumably your partner's vote as well, and that is it.
Yes.
Where would you be, if in the absence of that policy, what would you be doing?
Labour, I'll be voting in the absence of that policy, and because of that, I'm voting the Tories anyways.
Yeah, and that's 2 out of 2. And Richard's in Newquay. What would you like to say?
Well, yes. I mean, I think that Rishi Sunak is probably hard done to.
Yes.
I don't actually think he's done anything wrong. He probably hasn't got the charisma and the ability to connect with the public when speaking that probably Keir Starmer has.
Really?
Yes.
Crikey.
I mean, Keir Starmer is a barrister.
I don't think he's very charismatic, though, is he?
Well, I wouldn't. Well, he can twist a conversation to get the outcome that he wants because he's good at doing that. Rishi Sunak.
I'm sort of disagreeing with everybody, which was bound to happen this hour. I don't think he is very. I don't think he is very good at that, actually, Richard. But we all see what we see. We all see what we see.
But the point I'm trying to make is, I think Rishi Sunak is a safe pair of hands. I mean, he did a good job as Chancellor. He got the country through COVID. Did a great job with the furlough scheme, and then the bounce back loans, which helped thousands and thousands of businesses.
He chose not to investigate all of the corruption, sort of billions of pounds worth of corruption. And what could they have done differently, do you think?
Well, there's huge amounts they could have done differently.
Like
and
what?
I think
so what country would you point at as an example of getting it wrong?
Well, if you look at England, we have a population of 60 million.
No, I mean in terms of what we did during COVID, the countries that did something differently and got it wrong.
I mean, I don't think this is about COVID, but I actually think we did a great job.
You brought COVID up. You literally said he's a safe pair of hands, and then to give me the proof, the first thing you mentioned was COVID. He got us through COVID, you said. So I'm wondering, who are you comparing us to? Where is the country that didn't do what he did? Because it was bleeding obvious that they were going to have to do furlough.
We performed better than Wales, which has a population of 3 million, and Scotland, that has a population of 5 million.
Perform better by what? By what
Scotland.
metric? What metric did we perform better than Wales and Scotland?
By numbers of deaths per capita.
Right.
And also, we got back to work a lot quicker, which has improved our economy.
So people went back to work quicker in England than they did in Scotland?
Yeah, they did, because Scotland were pushing to have far more restrictions in place.
And that was a decision taken by the Chancellor of the Exchequer, was it?
I'm just trying to make the point how we got through COVID. But the real point that I'm trying to make is that we have to look at you are an economist, or you've got a background in
no, I don't. But never mind. You carry on.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, when you look at the economy, we need. Our country is doing well. We are growing faster than the likes of Germany and Europe. Yeah. We've come through COVID. Yeah. We've gone through Brexit. We are growing.
So we want more of the same.
Well, when you look at what we do, we're growing. We're far ahead of our peers. So if you look at Wales, Labour is run by Wales.
Yeah.
The NHS.
But Wales is run by Labour.
By Labour. The waiting lists in Wales are worse than England.
Yeah.
We have a population in England of 60 million.
You keep saying that. I don't know what point you think you're making on that. But anyway, I mean, Rishi Sunak.
I'm trying to make is why would we trust Labour when they can't even run Wales?
Keir Starmer's not running Wales.
Labour are running Wales. It's the same people. Well, it's the same firm.
Boris Johnson was running England not long ago. Are you a fan of his?
Well, yeah, he's done a good job. Boris
Johnson.
When you look at